going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I've got for you guys today, the latest physique update from Michael Krizo. Now, we don't know what show Michael Krizo is going to be doing, but based on this post, he hashtags that he's still trying to get to the Olympia 2024. We know that he's not currently qualified for the Olympia 2024. And he actually looks like he's in relatively good shape in this video. He looks pretty lean here for Krizo. Now, I know that he tagged the EVLS Prague Pro, and that's the last show that he did. That's also his sponsor. So the EVLS Prague Pro this year falls outside of the 2024 Olympia window because the Olympia is earlier this year. It's in October. So that wouldn't be the show that he's doing to qualify for this year's Olympia. Now, I've seen some people in the comments speculating that he might even be doing the Arnold Classic South America here in less than 2 weeks. But even though you can't see much of him here, you can just kind of see his legs and his upper body. To me, he doesn't look like he's less than 2 weeks out. And I've also seen people say, well, what if he jumps in the New York Pro? That could be interesting. I think it's important to remember that Krizo has never done a show in the U.S. besides the Olympia. So he's never tried to qualify for the Olympia inside of the U.S. So if he does a show here like the New York Pro, that would be the first time he ever does it. I'm not saying it's not a possibility. I'm just saying it's something he's never done before. So to me, he looks really good here. I would imagine that he's prepping for something right now, something earlier in the season rather than later, like towards the very last minute. I think the cutoff window is like mid-September for the last show that qualifies for the 2024 Olympia. And keep in mind, he was top 7 at the Olympia in 2023. He placed 7th, so I would imagine that somebody of Krizo's caliber isn't going to do a quote-unquote smaller show. I think we would see him at a show more like the New York, maybe an Arnold Classic South America. I do think those seem like the type of shows that he should be doing. But we'll keep an eye on it because we should be getting the official competitor list for the South America in less than a week. So stay tuned for that. Now, next up in the news, some news about Arnold Schwarzenegger that he posted on his Pump Club podcast just yesterday, where he talks about getting his 4th heart surgery just a week prior. So last Monday, he got this done. So it's important to remember that Arnold has had several heart surgeries, starting in 1997 with a valve replacement, and then again in 2018 to replace one of the valves that had worn out from that surgery, and then again in 2020 to replace an aortic valve. Now, the most recent surgery was the implantation of a pacemaker, which he says was last Monday, and he said his recovery was so fast that he was able to go walk around and kind of speak at a environmental event the following Friday. So just days later, he was up and walking around and still attending events. So it sounds like everything went very well with this implantation of the pacemaker. And this was due to scar tissue from the previous surgeries that we just talked about, causing an irregular heartbeat. So the pacemaker part of this is to fix the irregular heartbeat caused by the scar tissue from the surgeries. And the surgeries were to fix an issue that was a genetic defect that he had with his heart that was also shared by his mother. And he also says in his podcast that was what led to his mother actually passing away, was this exact same heart issue, which is what led him to have the valve replacements in the first place. So I'm going to play a short clip from his podcast where he talks about the surgery that he had last week. And it's important to remember also Arnold is 76 years old at the time of this pacemaker implantation.
Welcome back to another episode of Arnold's Pump Club. I have some personal news to share. Last Monday, I had surgery for a pacemaker and became a little bit more of a machine. I have to tell you, just saying this to all of you, goes against so much of my upbringing in Austria, where nobody ever talked about medical issues. Everything related to healthcare was kept to yourself. But I've gotten so many messages and emails from people who were born with a bicuspid aortic valve, like me, telling me that talking about my valve replacement surgeries has given them courage and hope to deal with their own. Since I know that going against my secretive instinct and being transparent helps people, it only feels right to talk about this. First of all, I want you to know I'm doing great. I had my surgery on Monday, and by Friday, I was already at a big environmental event with my friend and fellow fitness crusader, Jane Fonda. Nobody would ever have thought I started the week with a surgery. I want to thank my whole team at the Cleveland Clinic. All of the doctors and nurses took amazing care of me and made the surgery as painless as possible. They also advised me that it was time to go through with this because some scar tissue from my previous surgery had made my heartbeat irregular. It had been like that for a few years. So I stayed in touch with my medical team and visited in person at least once a year to get a full checkup and see how my heart was doing. That's life with a genetic heart issue. But you won't hear me complaining.
Now, next up in the news, more big prize money news in the world of the IFBB. Tyler Mannion announcing today that the prize money for Classic Physique will be increased. Now, this is going to be an across-the-board increase. I saw some people confusing this with this is going to be just the Olympia or just one show. So the company NewTek is now one of the new corporate sponsors of the IFBB as a whole, and they're going to be increasing the prize money for the Classic Physique Pro Division as a whole by $210,000. So that money is going to be spread across the board, similar to what we saw happen with Men's Open Bodybuilding about a month ago with that previous announcement, which I believe was $220,000 that Men's Open got. But this 210 in Classic, it's important to remember, is going to go a much longer way than the 220 went in Men's Open Bodybuilding, because the minimum prize money in Men's Open was already $10,000 for first place. Now, with Classic Physique, it's just a fraction of that. It's like a fourth of that. I believe it's $2,500 or $3,000 for first as a minimum for like the smallest amount of Classic Physique prize money. So this $210,000 is going to be able to increase the prize money pretty substantially. But at the same time, I do believe there's actually more Classic Physique shows during the course of the year than Men's Open Bodybuilding shows, and that's part of the reason is it's cheaper to put on a Classic Physique show because there's significantly less prize money required. And one of the reasons why I think this is cool is because this is a step in the right direction for the IFBB, because they're providing this money to the promoters from this sponsor, whereas a lot of the reason why you saw the prize money so low at a lot of these shows is A, because that was what the IFBB required. It was a really low minimum. But B, it's because the promoters themselves are the ones that had to put up all of that prize money. They were the ones that had to find a sponsor and find a way to make that budget work. So that's why a lot of the times you see promoters do the bare minimum, because a lot of times it's hard for them to get enough money to put together a prize money that's bigger than the minimum. So this is not just going to help out the athletes getting them paid more. It's going to help out the promoters be able to put on a better show, because this money is going towards helping them. Now, they haven't yet announced what the exact increase is going to be. Like with Men's Open Bodybuilding, they announced the increase was going to be from $10,000 to $15,000 for first place, and for Men's Open Bodybuilding, second place would increase to a minimum of $9,000. They didn't give those specifics for Classic Physique, and they also didn't say how many shows would be impacted. With Men's Open Bodybuilding, they said it was going to be 21 shows. With Classic, they haven't specified which shows yet or how much the increase will be, so I think that's important to kind of keep in the back of your mind. But I think another giant step in the right direction. Bodybuilding is just going very well right now. I think a lot of the decisions that you've seen made, both by the IFBB and shows like the Arnold Classic, have just been tremendous. This has been exactly what a lot of people have been calling for, and I just think it's a really good step in the right direction. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And even the video that we're looking at here is another big step that they've taken in the right direction. Videos like this, direct announcements from the IFBB, and direct recaps of why judges decided what they decided after the big shows. Another big thing I think they've added that has been tremendously beneficial to both athletes, fans, and promoters. So far, great job by the IFBB. Now, next up in the news, another update from Rubiel Mosquera. Now, I know a lot of people want to see Rubiel compete. He's got a lot of hype on social media right now. Obviously, the Neckzilla name was probably one of the most talked about new guys of the 2023 bodybuilding season. Now, he had committed to both the Arnold Classic Ohio and the Arnold Classic UK. And again, I want to remind you guys, he didn't show up to either one, and we never got a public reason as to why he didn't do either one of them. And I told you guys in the last video, when he had posted a posing update just a couple days ago, where he said he was about to be starting his prep and he would make an announcement soon, I was told by a pretty reputable source that Rubiel was supposed to be doing the New York Pro. Now I'm hearing from that same source that Rubiel is not going to be doing the New York Pro. So I kind of wonder about Rubiel because obviously he's got a ton of potential. He's a very young guy. I believe he's in his mid-20s. And there's no doubt about the fact that he's a massive dude. He's super muscular. He's got these freaky body parts, crazy legs. He's a mass monster. But I kind of wonder if he's going to become one of these guys that has unrealized potential. Because if he is one of these guys that commits to shows and tells promoters, okay, I'm going to do both Arnold Classics, doesn't do either one, doesn't give a reason, I'm going to do the New York Pro, doesn't end up doing it, that's kind of showing a pattern of inconsistency pretty early on in his career, which I think is the most important time for him to make a big impact. Like late last year when we saw him compete at the Prague Pro, that's when his hype really took off. That's when people were really talking about him, and his name was really a big name in bodybuilding. People were excited about the prospect of Neckzilla. Then we got to look forward to seeing him at the Arnold Classic, and then he missed that. Then we were looking forward to seeing him at the Arnold Classic UK, and then he missed that. Now we don't know when we're going to see him, and I feel like it's these early pivotal moments that where you start missing these big shows, it makes people wonder, how consistent is this guy going to be in the future? And it's also worth pointing out that he came over from the other IFBB Pro League, or we call it the IFBB Elite Pro, not the Pro League. And while he was there, he was good, but you didn't see him win as many shows or as many big titles or be as dominant as Michael Krizo was. Michael Krizo also came over from that other IFBB, but Krizo won almost every title there was to win over there. And that wasn't the case with Rubiel, even though Rubiel is younger than Krizo. Not by much, I think just a few years. So it makes me kind of wonder if Rubiel is going to be one of these guys that we talk about a lot, gets a ton of hype for a very short amount of time, and then kind of fizzles out and we never see him really reach the top. I've seen other people even say, they thought Rubiel could win the Olympia, could win multiple Olympias, etc. But we haven't even seen him win a pro show yet in the IFBB. We haven't even seen him do one of the major pro shows in the IFBB. The Prague Pro was a good show, but so far he passed on both the Arnold Classics, which would have been huge, even if he didn't win, which he likely would not have, even to be compared in a call-out with Hadi and Sampson, even though he was compared with Sampson in Prague. But with Hadi and Mr. Olympia to be stood next to him would have been huge for Rubiel, even if he was 4th, 5th, 6th. I feel like that was a missed opportunity for him, so I'm just kind of wondering what you guys think in the comments below the career trajectory of Rubiel is going to be. Obviously, it's very early and very premature to tell, and this is just speculation, but I feel like he's passing some major opportunities here. Now, the final story that I've got for you guys today, another physique update from Nick Walker as we go into the New York Pro, where he's going to be looking to get a second New York Pro title in an Olympia 2024 qualification. Nick Walker posting a side chest here, this time actually utilizing the goon light of this posing room at the Muscle Inc. gym in Bethlehem. Typically, Nick uses kind of unflattering lighting to show like the most true version of his physique, but then every time you see him step into some really good goon lighting, you can really see how freaky he really is. I think he's going to be giving these guys a pretty hard time at the New York Pro. But like I've said in several of these videos, I think you're going to see these lineups shape up a little bit more competitive than we initially thought. And there actually is going to be, I am going to have an announcement for you guys about the New York Pro coming up here soon. So make sure you guys stay tuned to that and subscribe. But Nick looks great here. And I still think right now he's definitely the favorite to win that show. But we still don't have a full idea of what that lineup's going to be. So that's going to wrap it up for the video today, guys. I hope you did, in fact, enjoy it. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, click that bell notification icon, and all that good stuff. And as always, I love you guys, appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at NickStrengthPower. My Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power. My secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.